Anthony Davis has all the ability and all the talent as any player we can name in the league, but at no point in time are we looking at him and saying he can lead his team to a championship. So if we don't view him as that, we just have to view him as a guy that's a top 7 player. And right now, we wouldn't say he's playing like a top 7 player.
One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's called a same game parlay bet, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Same game parlay is just one of the reasons I bet with FanDuel. It's easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, easy to place your bet fast during a game if you see a trend you like. And the best part, when you win, FanDuel pays your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today to create a same-game parlay and use promo code ROADTRIPPIN at sign-up. New users get their first bet risk-free up to $1,000. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. That is promo code ROADTRIPPIN so they know I sent you. Disclaimer, 21 years and older and present in Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, or West Virginia. First online real money wager only. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa, 1-800-9-WITH-IT, Indiana, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, Tennessee Redline, 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or visit www.1800gambler.net for West Virginia.
Channing!
Hello, Richard.
Hey, bud.
Dude, chilling, chillaxing, studying.
All right, let's go because my phone, I don't have a charger and I'm at 45%.
Cheers. Welcome to this edition of Road Trippin presented by FanDuel. Allie Clifton, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson. All right, so then what's going on besides your phone not having any battery?
What's going on? Honestly, I'm just running around, doing all the things, trying to work, not too much. That's it. Wondering where Channing is, wondering where my wine shipment is. That's pretty much it.
Actually, can we start there, Channing? Because I agreed to.
Yeah.
But I think I gave you the wrong address. I'm not really sure. We kind of talked about it over the last couple of days. However, are you putting on a function?
Yeah, that's in Portland now.
That's okay because this is dropping the morning of your function.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow. So we have a nice little friendship, I would say a beer and wine collaboration with Breakside Brewing out here in Portland. You can come from, and they're letting us use their whole top floor, their second level from like 4:30 to 7:30. It's like a tasting. We don't have a tasting room yet. We're looking very hard actually. So it's nice to do things in urban areas and not always do stuff in wine country. So it's fun. It's interesting. It's new. It's kind of like what we're doing now. And
so everyone in Portland should come by, right?
Yeah, roll by. Do it at 4:30 to 7:30, happy hour. We'll pour wines. You can get a ticket at the door. I think we're pouring 4 wines, 3, and then maybe a surprise one. It's fun to like tell people. It's been doing it online so long that it feels weird to do this in person and like tell the story. But it's awesome. It's fun. It's like.
Wait, you've been doing these like virtual tastings, you're saying?
Yeah, we've been doing virtual tastings because COVID and Portland's been locked down and we don't have a tasting room. It's hard for people to like connect. So, for us to make it this far has been pretty awesome. And, we just came out with wines that are what I call the daily drinkers. It's like a Pinot Noir. It's $35 and a Chardonnay that's $32. So everyone was like. The daily drinkers.
Well,
it's just like, the daily drinkers are like, man, let me watch Yellowstone on a Monday, and you pop open a Chardonnay. You don't feel like, oh man, it has to be this special event, and you want to watch football on Sunday, but you have guys with really sophisticated taste. You're like, dude, crack open a couple of these chosen families and you don't feel so bad. You didn't blow up your budget.
Channing, you're really good at the selling aspect as well.
Oh,
I give you credit for that. With that said, I do have a question about your wines.
Yeah.
How long do they last once they're already open?
Depends on the wine. I would say like max 3 days.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Why?
Because she opened up one.
Yeah, it might be. Might have been there a little bit longer.
Is it a white wine or a red wine?
The red, it's Pinot.
Was it one of ours or was it some from California?
Did you see her whole mood drop? Like, damn it, I gotta drink 2
Yeah,
glasses of
but
wine
did you cork it?
No, well, I put like a topper back on it.
Okay, it should be fine.
For longer than 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as it's not near like something hot. Like that's the problem. People open up the bottle of wine and then they like let it leave it open, and then they leave it next to the stove where it gets all hot. And then they're like, why isn't this good? You're like, you just cooked your wine.
No big deal. Okay, so your function is 4:30 to 7:30. Yeah. Where again?
Breakside Brewing in Slabtown, Portland. It's like downtown Portland.
Slaptown?
Slab.
You're taking people to Slaptown?
Oh man.
God, Richard, is that the only thing you think of? Sexual innuendos every single time.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about the sexual stuff.
I know.
Channing's so inappropriate.
Oh, is it though? Okay. With that said, Channing, the one question that everyone asks these days, and because you said you've been doing virtual, do they have to have their vaccination cards? Do they have to be vaccinated to come?
No, not that I know of. I'm not asking this question. I'm Switzerland here.
Welcome to 2021.
Yeah, just come. It depends on every place is different in Portland. Certain places require vaccination to even get in. Other places, are like, come on in, buy our stuff. I'm like, come on in and buy our stuff. We'll figure it out later.
Well, kudos. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome that you've gotten this far with everything. All right, let's talk the NBA. And I don't want to dive too much into, guys, the Suns-Warriors game because this is going to be post that game. So in terms of the actual game that's about to happen between these two powerhouses. However, I do want to start the conversation when it comes to the NBA with this. I just read it the other day on ESPN. Before the 2019-2020 season, some guys dug into basically what the record says about the likelihood of teams making the playoffs after the first 20.
Yeah.
All right. And 87% of teams who won fewer than 9 did not make the playoffs. 86% of teams who won 11 or more made the playoffs.
How many do the Kings have?
2 seasons ago. So with that said,
how many do the Kings have?
The Kings, for the East, you have to go all the way to the 11th seed. Boston has 11. They're 11 and 10. Actually, Philly in the 8th spot. Philly, Cleveland, Atlanta, and Boston are 11 and 10. When it comes to the West, you stop at the 7th seed with the Lakers. That's the last team to have won 11 games so far. The Kings have only won 8.
What did we say? What did we say? The East is better than the West this year.
And with that said,
I would say way better than the West.
The East is 55 and 49 so far against the West.
The East is better top to bottom, but the West has the 2 best teams in the NBA, like by far. The Suns and the Warriors.
They're playing the best. They're playing the best. The 2 teams that are playing the best.
Richard, the Warriors and the Suns are championship teams right now.
Can I throw this one out there too?
Yes, please.
Through 6 weeks in the NBA, you do know that the Phoenix Suns and the Warriors, Utah is the number 1 team to have the easiest schedule.
Left?
No. So far played. Through the first 6 weeks, Utah, Phoenix, Warriors. Top 3 in the West with the easiest schedule.
The Warriors and Phoenix move differently than Utah. And I've seen that movie. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
I'll never get shamed again.
I'll never get shamed again. I refuse to say Utah is a contender. I refuse to say it until they show something different.
But Channing, though, like
they're such a good regular season team. I'm so bored with that. And
yeah, but so was Milwaukee. But so was Milwaukee until they got over the hump. So it's like
Giannis made the step though.
He made the step. Brooklyn was injured. Like a lot of different things went their way. So we can't just make it seem like Giannis was like, I'm going to take all takers. No, Giannis beat who was in front of them. But like I don't know if he went against the best possible teams that he could. And that's not to disrespect him as a champion. That's not that. But I just, to your point, I think Utah could get over the hump. We watched so much basketball, people getting over the hump. But you're right. I'm not rooting for you. I'm not picking Utah to win. I just don't think we can say the over the hump.
You know what kind of coincides with your take on our last episode that we did like 9 years ago?
What?
AKA 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm sorry. The Phoenix Suns have not lost a game in over a month. They've won 17 straight, and you did say on this platform that people around the league thought it was a fluke.
100%. People and on top of it, I didn't think they would make it past that Nets versus Knicks Friday, Saturday night back-to-back that they had. I did not think that they went up there and whooped ass. They ran through New York. They look like, do you remember when we had that LA trip, Channing, where we came in, beat the Lakers, beat the Clippers, and we were drunk for 4 days that whole time?
Oh, yes. Oh, wait, didn't Kevin have a concussed or something? And then I had to play, but they didn't tell me till like the day of?
That was in the finals.
No, that was.
Or wait, did it happen more?
Play in the finals.
Oh my God.
Thanks for bringing that up, Allie.
Sorry. He was also concussed in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think he had something. He had a little tummy ache or something. I think he had a little boo-boo guts. And I started.
Look, you started from. I think the Phoenix Suns, they're playing great basketball. And it's very similar to like when you're just more confident. Those guys have seen it all now. They've been to the finals, a regular season game. They know how to raise their intensity. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they are a very good team. They're playing right. Everyone knows their role. Like, all they pretty much have done has picking up where they started or where they finished last season, and they've just been cooking. Everybody's been healthy. They've been locked in. Adding JaVale McGee has been huge for them because you got another guy. So I love the Phoenix Suns team.
So do you think
Do I think what?
Oh.
So this is real. I mean, after a while, when you win consecutively,
when you win a month? When you win a month? Like, that's crazy.
So I think the most I ever got to was like 12 or 14. Like, let me just say this.
Yeah.
They are real. But they're going to lose. I don't think they're a better team than Golden State. I don't think that they are a better team than Milwaukee if they were to face Milwaukee again. If they were to face Milwaukee again today and Milwaukee's healthy, I don't think that they are better than Milwaukee. And so it's just like, dude, it's one of those things you just have. Can they win a championship? Yes. Can the Golden State Warriors win a championship? Yes. Can Utah? Yes. Can Milwaukee? Yes. Can Brooklyn? Yes. Outside of that, I said can.
Stops there.
What? Stops there.
Miami, if things go right.
Miami could.
Chicago.
I think it's
here's my thing with Chicago. I don't know if Lonzo and Vooch have like next levels to, like, if you're asked to be, a 10 and 8 guy during the year, to all of a sudden be able to turn that on and win a game in a playoff for your team. Like, Vooch is used to being spoon-fed, and he's figuring it out, right? And in the NBA of any good team, he's had to make the most adjustment, I think, of any all-star. Because he went from being the one guy to, like, the fourth guy now, right? And then for me, Lonzo, I watched that game. Chicago was playing someone, and it just didn't seem like he thought he was going to make it. Like, when his jumper needed to be there, I still think he's getting his confidence on it. Now, where he's at from where he was is ridiculous, but where they're going to need him, they're going to say, if he misses 2 or 3, is he going to shoot the next 3? Especially in the playoffs, where everying is compounded. That's my only issue. Also,
and they have today. Me, I'm really tired, dude. I've been at 7 a.m. production meetings, kids, all this. Yeah. Oh, what time's your production meeting, Channing?
Oh, guess what? I don't have one. Stupid.
Yeah. So, and literally I walked off the set, changed, and then came in here to do it. I'm still at ESPN right now.
You know what actually really surprises me about the Bulls? One thing that, like, I did not realize that they had.
What?
Their length and athleticism on the defensive end of the floor.
It's crazy.
And they have
wild.
They have a ton of like-sized guys. So you have Lonzo, you have Caruso, you have DeMar DeRozan, you have Zach LaVine. I feel like I'm missing one other person. Even they just added Kobe White, which I'm really curious because, he was injured and they had a lot of new pickups. So I'm curious to see what he can do. Their team is so well balanced. They probably need one more defensive big or like a lob threat. But they got Derrick Jones Jr., so they do have something there. But I love their team. I really do. I think to me, like watching them versus Charlotte a couple nights ago, I think I could see that as a 3-6 matchup. I could see Chicago being 3. I could see Charlotte getting in there at 6 and seeing a great first round matchup between those two teams.
Right now you have Chicago at 2.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that stays there like that. Yeah,
you don't think
Milwaukee's starting to warm up, and Giannis is starting to be like, okay, I'm tired of losing to these scrubby teams. I'm just gonna bully you. I'm gonna bully you. Let's keep it pushing. Let me dunk my Oreos.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts about Tibbs and Kemba? That's a big move. It's a big move in general. It's a big move from the standpoint of Tibbs actually making the move that was best for the team.
Tibbs don't give a fuck.
No.
Never
He
happened.
was like, hold up. If you don't fit in my system, please go somewhere else. In theory, it looks good. Like Kemba going back to New York. On the basketball court, you're like, holy crap. We can't switch because he's too small. We can't have him consistently out there because he's injured, right? He needs the ball in his hand, and that's not our offense. He doesn't want to just stand there. And Julius Randle's having the worst. I know.
I'm
sure.
Oh my
I'm struggling. I need another cup of coffee.
With that said, Channing, is it Kemba?
Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't fit in that system. And you just can't. Yeah, go ahead, Richard. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
No. Only thing I was going to say is that think about IT. Think about IT, what we saw with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was all NBA first team, one of the top scorers in this league, doing all of these things, like all the scoring for Boston. Once he got injured and that quickness wasn't there, the defense isn't there. And look, Isaiah, it sucks because I do believe that like he is one of the more talented guys in this league, and I hate the way it happened. But Kemba Walker is on 1.5 legs, right? He doesn't have both his legs. His knee is all keeps him in and out of the lineup. Boston wouldn't have traded him if they thought that they traded him for basically Al Horford. Like, think about that. Al Horford wasn't even playing for Oklahoma City. Then Oklahoma City waived him. Like, you don't trade a guy that's, what is Kemba Walker, 28, 29? You don't trade a former All-Star unless he's got, like, some lingering stuff. So now he's 31, like I said, 31 years old. So you're 31 years old. You've had some knee issues. You're about 5'9", and, like, you are really, really light. And you are a scorer. He's not a defender. Like, and that's not a knock on him. He's one of the best scorers in this league for many, many years. So, like you understand why it's not a great fit at this point in time. He's probably best as like a 6th or 7th man, and that's hard to say for a player of that caliber.
Richard said it. Now, I just think defensively, you limit your versatility when you play somebody like that, especially when they are a little light in the ass. Like Kyle Lowry's not the biggest guy, but he defends the post at a pretty high rate, takes charges, like he's moving around, right? Obviously, he's a champion. So, like, if you think about the small guys in the league, guys who are light in the ass are usually really tall and can defend. And you have versatility. You can switch. You can go show and under. You got to run one offense for Kemba, and then you're in rotations. And I know Tibbs is not really a rotation guy. He's like, everyone stay on. You got to, like, man up. Like, look what Jimmy Butler is. And who he is as a player is based on Tibbs. Like, look at Derrick Rose. Like, you just look at how they play, bigger guards who can defend their position. And I just think offensively, when you take the ball out of Julius Randle's hands, you don't have enough shooters. Right? They don't have enough shooting. So if Kemba's coming off a screen and roll and teams trap him, he's not quick enough to get around them. And then you're throwing the ball, a small guy, throwing a bounce pass to a big guy. It just, like, if he was in the second unit, he would have not the same level of defenders that would guard him. And you could get off on that, right? You could get him like easy 5 or 6 opportunities to go score. But then when the starters come in, you got to come back out.
You can what?
What?
No, I agree. I just thought it's a ballsy move, if you will. It's a move that not all coaches would make. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
And
and you got to
Tibbs is
give
growing something now.
yeah
Yeah.
He can't.
you can't jeopardize that. And on top of it, Kimball Walker was like a pickup. And I say
Yeah.
this in a respectful manner. This wasn't a free agent signing. This is not a guy that's got 5 years left on his deal and you're trying to figure out what to do with him. No, this is a guy that's, I believe he got away from Oklahoma City, signed with the Knicks. So this isn't like a long-term thing that you're like, how are we going to manage? That's a tough spot. Even look at Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin had the same thing. Whereas, look, James Johnson is a better defender. But Marcus Aldridge is having like a resurgent year on the offensive end. So it's like, Blake is not as good as LaMarcus on the offensive end, and he's not as good as James Johnson on the defensive end. And the Brooklyn Nets, their defense has been improved, but that's where they need contribution. And so Blake has kind of found himself kind of not this, he's not that. He can still play, but he's just right now the direction that they're going, and it's fine. Look, if Blake is an opportunity to rest his body, but that shit punches your fucking ego. Like, I didn't get my first DMP till year 12, and that sucked. And I wasn't a possible future Hall of Famer. But we saw Carmelo go through it where he struggled with the fact that, like, no, you're coming off the bench, you're this, you're that. And that was just coming off the bench. You're talking about Blake Griffin no longer being in the rotation. Those are two different things. But credit to him. If you want to win a championship, you're going to have – you guys remember T. Lue, right after he took over for David Blatt, was like, hey, Rich, I'm going to go with these young guys. You're going to be out of the rotation. But if you want to win a championship, these are the sacrifices that you have to make. And sometimes sacrifices fucking suck.
What sacrifices do you think that the Lakers need to make?
Ooh!
Because it is hard. It is hard to know that you have 4 top 25 players. I understand where they are in their career, but to hear you guys talk about championship contenders and not even bat an eye to say that the Lakers.
No. They don't
because at the start of the season, that was not the conversation.
Well,
you at least put their name in there.
Yeah, no one could foresee this. Now, no one could. And look, the Lakers aren't that far off. Like, the Lakers aren't that far off. I just think it's the lack of belief. Like, AD's got, like, this is a thing. AD, we all believed, was headed towards. He leaves New Orleans, didn't have necessarily the help. He gets with the Lakers, has a great year. Looking, he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year. He has, like, they're like, oh, this is going to be AD's team as Bron starts to decline. The only problem is that AD hasn't elevated himself to, like, that top 5 player in the league. If anything, he's regressed from AD is less dominant today than he was when he first joined the Lakers.
Absolutely.
Like, that's just the fact. And it doesn't mean that he's not great. It doesn't mean that he's not 25
where do
and
you, and this is an honest question, because obviously I have to watch this team. I don't have to, I get a chance to watch this team night in and night out. And the numbers for AD are some of the best across the board in terms of his position, in terms of bigs in the league, in terms of scoring at the rim. Obviously the 3 ball is not falling the way that it has in the past for him. Look, the championship season, he shot 38% in the playoffs, 33% for that season. He can shoot the 3. My point being is, what is it for you two who have played this game at a high level, understand what it takes from a guy like him that he's not doing when it comes to impact, as you're speaking, if you will?
It should be his team. He needs to, like, he's being Robin.
It's easier said than done because
he's the Batman. No, he's the Batman. Like, when he plays good, everyone else falls in line. Like, it's hard for Bron. Bron is the best at making everyone really good. But, like, Anthony Davis at his position and what he can do every night, he can walk out there, eyes closed, get 24, 12, and 3, right? Eyes closed. To me, it just seems like there's no where I worry about not his motor, but I worry about his, like, does every game matter? And, like, his aggression towards dominating, like, you're going to play Giannis and you're like, I got to get ready for this. I don't know if people go, damn, I'm playing Anthony Davis tonight. Like, he should be that guy every single night.
If the season were to end right now, right? Like, just, and again, I know we expect him to play better. Anthony Davis knows he needs to play better. Lakers know he needs to play better. That's kind of not what we're talking about. Like, I think that's a good question, Allie. But right now, would Anthony Davis would he be all NBA third team? If Anthony Davis is playing at an all NBA third team level, Lakers are not contenders.
What are the
unless
what
LeBron,
are
unless LeBron
first team,
is,
second team, third team based off of outside of record?
well, I'm saying record, numbers, dominance. Like, are you second in the league in blocks? Are you second in the league in rebounding? Is your team top
He's the
three
lead
in
in
your
block.
conference? I'm saying is your team top? I'm not saying that Anthony Davis isn't great, but like, let's look at the impact. No. I'm just saying, let's look at the impact that I don't want to just sit here and blame everything on Russ. I'm not going to sit here and blame everything on Brown.
And I don't think Anthony Davis does that either. But I'm talking about in numbers. AD's like a 25, 11, and 3, leads the league in blocks.
Yeah, and this is a 500 team,
right?
Right,
So
like it's like what is the MVP? How do you win MVP? Right, it's a dominant performance like Jokic being available for every game. Yeah, but I'm saying though, MVP is the same as defensive player.
He does not lead the league in blocks.
Is it two? Is it two?
He's number 3. Haha.
Okay. How many?
He had a day off. So somebody overtook him during his day off.
Yeah, he's right there at the top.
He is right there.
When you look, like the Bucks, they were 500 and Giannis was playing the whole time. Giannis has not missed many games with Drew Holiday, with Middleton out, Lopez out, and Giannis was playing. Right? No one's talking about Giannis being MVP right now. No one's talking about Giannis being Defensive Player of the Year. And this is not a knock on Giannis. The numbers are going to be there. It's how much you impact winning. And sometimes it's not just physical in numbers. It's the fire in which you show.
Okay, that's my question. What is it you need to see from Anthony Davis?
Some fire. Act like you care. Like, be upset.
I love say this is the guy, we've talked about it, unless it's Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, unless it's World of Warcraft, whatever the video game, you don't see a lot from this guy. He doesn't get on Twitter. He's not on social like that, unless he's singing to his wife. Like, there's not that element. He's more, you guys know this. He's just not that outward guy. That's why he and Braun go so well together. He's not an alpha dog.
No, so let's figure that out. You saying, should we lower our expectations for Anthony Davis? Is he a top 5 player in the league? Is he a top 5 player in the league?
Easily.
I'm not talking about talent. Is he a top 5 player?
I don't think overall, I don't think you can say that as of right now, that he is a top 5 player in the league right now.
And truly, in my opinion, this is not a knock on him.
No.
Is saying fire. Look, Tim Duncan was a quiet guy. Jason Kidd was a quiet guy. All of these things, like, you don't have to be this over the top guy. If he is not playing as a top 5, top 7 player, like when you're looking around and you're like, that bad boy right there is going to be a problem. We got to figure this out. If he is not playing as a top 5, top 7 guy, the Lakers are the 4 seed, right? Mm-hmm. Because we can't keep saying, like, look, LeBron has declined. Like, yeah, he's hidden it. He's doing this. His numbers are still going to be great. But LeBron can't just be like, come on, guys, I got you.
What I will say, though, is to answer that, AD can be a top 5 player.
Yes, agree.
Can be. And he's shown it at times. But I think the consistency of it, and to your point, which is a question I was wondering as well.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, we don't need better numbers from Anthony Davis. His numbers are good. You want his 3-point percentage to get up because you know he's capable and he's talented enough to do that. Like, you want this and that, but there's often something, or not often. At times there are things that are missing, right? Mm-hmm. At times there are things, whether it's a level of aggression, whether it doesn't, even if that's not you per se and your personality, then that's fine. Then, like, your team is going to hover around, the 4 or 5 spot. Your team is going to hover around there.
One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's called a same game parlay bet, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Same game parlay is just one of the reasons I bet with FanDuel. It's easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, easy to place your bet fast during a game if you see a trend you like. And the best part, when you win, FanDuel pays your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today to create a same game parlay and use promo code ROADTRIPPIN at sign up. New users get their first bet risk-free up to $1,000. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. That is promo code ROADTRIPPIN so they know I sent you. Disclaimer, 21 years and older and present in Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, or West Virginia. First online real money wager only. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa, 1-800-9-WITH-IT, Indiana, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, Tennessee Redline, 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or visit www.1800gambler.net for West Virginia.
The guys that play with an intensity, the Kevin Durant, the Steph Currys, the LeBron James in his prime, those guys, when those guys are playing at their best, you're saying that these are MVP candidates and these guys are going to lead their teams to championships. Anthony Davis has all the ability and all the talent as any player we can name in the league, but at no point in time are we looking at him and saying he can lead his team to a championship. So if we don't view him as that, we just have to view him as a guy that's a top 7 player. And right now, we wouldn't say he's playing like a top 7 player. And it's not to say that that's why the Lakers are where they are, because Russ has been struggling to his own standard. LeBron has been injured. Bron
has only played in like 13 of the 22 games.
Exactly. So I'm not shitting on Anthony Davis. I'm not shitting on any of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, is Russ playing to his capability? No, but you're like, okay, he's trending the last 5 games. He is playing better. But again, you're talking about tight wins, an overtime win against Detroit. You're talking about a triple overtime game against Sacramento. Those teams are shit. Those teams are headed for the lottery. And
but I think we all need to keep things in perspective. I understand where we are. We're past the quarter mark, but I still think that there's time that this team could use based off of, large in part, the non-availability of LeBron. He has missed 11 games this season, which is not ideal when you're starting from scratch with a team that has 11, 12 new players, and he is such a big focal point, like no matter where he is in his career.
What are the Lakers, right? What are the Lakers? Because they don't have enough shooting to play slow, right? That's the build of this team on paper is like, oh, okay, maybe. They got to play fast, which they cannot do. They're older. But they can't play slow because they don't have enough shooters. Then you have guys that, as Richard.
No, I'm making sure that my stuff went down. We're good on percentage. My battery percentage is fine.
Like you don't have guys that can really move without the ball. You don't have guys defensively. Like if the Lakers last year and the year before, especially when I won a chip, were defensive juggernauts.
Yeah.
This year, if you watch, it's like, ole, whoop, right to the rim. Yeah. And that's why Anthony Davis.
That's why Anthony leads the league in blocks. He's getting a lot of attempts at blocking.
No, a lot.
But Allie, you
so like, what do they do good? What do they do good? Like, what can they go back on?
Channing, this is one of the things that Allie pointed out, and we had a conversation about. They don't have enough guys that do the little things. They don't have enough guys. Alex Caruso, little things guy. KCP, little things guys. I would say JaVale McGee, little thing guy. Like these are guys are like, they are the bond. They are the guys. It's like, you need me to defend him. You need me to do this. You need me to play. You need me not to play. Like they had high level guys that were out there like working. And even when, Avery Bradley, before, he set out of the bubble, little thing guy, doing all the defense, picking up like Schroeder. Before, the final stretch of the season, he was picking up people 94 feet for the whole game. He was the front of the defense. Anthony Davis was the back of the defense. And then you had wing guys like Caruso and KCP on the wing. That's why they had a top 5 defense. They don't have any of that shit no more. And so they have offensive players, but if your offense isn't kicking in the way that you would want, then to me, I think the Lakers are a very good team when they're peaking and when they're healthy and when they're rolling. But we all know winning a championship is fucking hard. It's exhausting. And I just don't see the top guys Bron, AD, and Russell are all having B- seasons. And I'm being generous. They're all having B- seasons. It's going to be tough for those. I would say Carmelo's having an A+ season, right?
Ooh.
Like he has been playing outstanding. But you can't have your three best players, three top 75 guys playing B- basketball. At this point, they're playing B- basketball. And they all know they need to play better to a man. It's hard for them to hold each other accountable because it's like, you got to do this.
The year you guys won a championship.
Yeah.
The year you guys won a championship. And Channing,
we started what?
You weren't there until February.
Yeah.
However, y'all started 19 and 20.
Yeah,
19
we were fine.
and 20. So I'm just one of those that, like, from what I've experienced and what I've seen, look, the Lakers have a long way to go. The Lakers will tell you they have a long way to go. And some of the hardest things to understand, I don't know why that keeps going off, is the fact that they're saying they need to start games. They need to play with more in general, urgency, energy. Those are things you can actually control. So it's a bit mind-boggling that you don't have that in general. But I think that there's still
time.
Oh, there's still playing. We're just being critical about week 7.
I also think, Richard, when you talk about having and needing guys to do the little things, I think this team has those players. One, Kendrick Nunn is out. Trevor Ariza is out. He's coming back soon. He's a guy that has, over his career, been able to plug in and plug out in different lineups coming in. However, I don't think guys know that that's them and that they are the guys that have to do those little things. That's the adjustment. That's guys that have been counted on, have been relied upon because they're older, they're vets, right? It is a different style of basketball that I think that they have to play, to your point, to make the sacrifice of what he needs.
Allie, that's a great point. Now let's go to your 19 and 20 thing. Kyrie did not start that season. Kyrie did not play until like 10 games in because he was still coming off a knee surgery. Neither did Bron. No, but I'm saying Bron had been and out. They had a bunch, quite a few new guys. I would say it was only actually a couple of new guys. My point is this: is that Bron was also at that time. We're talking about a 31-year-old Bron,
I know,
right? Like that's the only thing I'm saying. Like we're not talking about the next because he went. If we're talking about 15, 16, he went to the finals 3 more years. Actually, he's been to 4 more finals since that 19 and 20 start. And so it's more of saying that I'm not counting out the Lakers by no means. I'm not an idiot, but they have a lot of work to do. And some of the work isn't just basketball.
Yeah.
Some of the work isn't just like, so-and-so's going through a slump. Their defense is not on par. Their offense looks stagnant at times, like they're searching. They've been in and out of lineups. Like, it's just, I agree. We hold greatness to a higher standard. And I don't think that they are achieving. Is that the same fucking coffee you had like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago? How do you do that? Who are the people that can drink the same cup of coffee for like 4 hours?
What's rough is that it's a mind opener, so it actually has butter and MCT oil in it. So like
mind opener? What is that? Like a new thing?
I had it in. I drank.
It's a bulletproof. It's a bulletproof. You taught me about the bulletproof.
And I had it in Soho. So
that kept it warm.
How's that going, by the way?
Soho?
Yeah.
It's going well, man. It's going well. We survived the pandemic. All the people, Soho Yoga. If any of you guys are in LA, Hermosa Beach, come check out Soho Yoga. But no, man, it's going well. It's going well. No complaints. Like we got to get our capacity.
Well, are you kidding? Can we talk about the fact that like they actually reduced their class size from 40 to 30, and the last like 7 classes have been like 32, 34 people. You're turning away people at the door. It's going well. Richard, give your establishment a little bit more credit. It's like booming.
Well, I wasn't trying to let the CDC know that we weren't completely following all guidelines. I'm just joking. We are following all guidelines.
You actually reduced.
Yes, we
masks
reduced
are being worn.
No, masks are being worn. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that, look, no, it's going well. It's going well. We're surviving, man, and it's because of our community and our people and our teachers and Natasha and Pete. I get 0 credit because I just take going there. I do yoga. I say it's a sham, and then I leave.
I forgot to pay my Zoom bill, so they already gifted me an extra 10 minutes. With that said, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we get disconnected?
What else? I
was going to give a shout out to Spagu and Perk because I've been listening to their podcast.
Yes.
And they did have they had a take on Stephen Curry. that I was going to ask you guys about. Spagu actually said it, that he thinks that Steph is the best player in the game today and that he will go down as a top 10 all time. But then they furthered the conversation. I don't think anyone can argue, but they furthered the conversation about why we aren't ready at this point to say that Steph is the best in the game. And for a while, it was his stature, right? And Perk made that comment. And I agree. I've thought about it a lot too. But I don't know if you can point to that anymore.
I think that Steph is going to go down as a top 10. I think he's probably the favorite to win the MVP. Even if they finish at number 2, the way he's playing, I think Draymond is going to be top 3 in defensive player of the year. So Steph is going to, I think if I was a betting man, I would say that Steph is going to win his 3rd MVP. And you're like, holy shit, Steph Curry has 3 MVPs. But so often I think people discredit him because of the great team, the great system, and all these things. And he is just a fucking monster around it. But I think when you would look at guys like Magic Johnson, when you would look at guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when you're looking at, and I know everyone he's changed the game. Yes, he did change the game from the 3-point standpoint, but it's just hard to say that Steph is as dominant as the Magics, the Kareems, the LeBrons, the Larry Birds. It's just hard to say that because the Kevin Durant, because he's done it in a very different way, but his skill set is so special. But, I think that's the difference. And I think that's why people don't want to literally crown him that guy, is because all of those guys you would just plop into a place and just build around whatever pieces, where I think Steph is a guy that you put him there. And if you put him with great people that know how to play, that's when Steph takes off to another level. But Steph's going to win another MVP. Steph will go down, in my opinion, as a top 10 player, without a doubt. By the time he's probably top 15 right now, if I were to stop
easily top 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Probably top 15.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Also, and everyone was like, "Oh, Steve Kerr sucks at coaching and this and that last year," right? But then you look at guys like Jordan Poole, right? You look at Wiggins, who was a throw-in, right? And even I was pretty critical. Like, damn, these dudes, what's going on? All of a sudden, when you get Steph back full health, when you get Draymond back full health, and everyone knows the system, you're like, holy crap, Jordan Poole can go start for most teams in the NBA, and then when Klay comes back, he's going to come off the bench. And then, oh crap, Klay's coming back. And then you look at Steph, and like, he was already, obviously he's a 2-time MVP, and then even for me, I was like, how does he get better? And he figured out a way to get better.
I don't think Steph is better. And listen, I don't think Steph is better.
Way better.
I don't think
defensively he's better. He finishes better.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying about Steph and his dominance. I think this looks like 2015, 2016 Steph. I'm just saying, like, if you were really, without Klay. That's what I'm saying.
Which
without
is crazy to say.
Which is crazy, but I just don't. I think Steph, there's a level of excellence like LeBron. Like LeBron has done this for however many years. There might be some up years, maybe some just okay years, but for the part, there's a level of excellence. I think Steph has reached a level of excellence that I don't know if he's not having a better year this year than he did in 2015. He's not having a better year this year than he did in 2016.
That he missed a year because of a broken hand.
Yes.
The way in which the Golden State Warriors have been because of health just in general. I think takes away from the fact that, to your point, Richard, I don't think he's any better than he was then as well. It's just we went a couple years without seeing it because of being out of the league for a year, and then obviously without Klay, and then the transition that they've gone through as a team.
He's a monster. I think for sure he will go down as a top 10 player.
That's
but
not a question. I think
you wouldn't say him. You wouldn't say it over Kobe. You wouldn't say it over Bron. You wouldn't say it over Michael. You wouldn't say it over Magic Johnson. Would you say it over Tim Duncan? Because you understand too, like Tim Duncan was all defensive team like 12 years in a row, 19.
Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when you start looking at this list of like, I'm like, with all due respect to Steph, if you could draft Tim Duncan at the beginning of his career or Steph, like if you could draft Kobe Bryant at the beginning, if you could draft Magic at the beginning, if you could draft, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So the fact that he's top 10 is fucking crazy. And I don't know if he's there yet, but I think he is knocking on that door. By the end of the season, he could go from 13th to 10th, 100% in like greatness.
That's enough love for Steph Curry. We went through all those stats with them. I'm over that. Just kidding. He is amazing. With that said, I do want to ask though, because I do not want to get cut off. Y'all Wildcats.
How about them Wildcats?
Oh,
Not the football
yeah.
team, the basketball
You guys had a
team.
lot of
Basketball.
coaching change. Oh yeah, we don't even want to talk about football because the Buckeyes.
No, yeah, that's a tough one. It's
How'd
about
Toledo
time. Like,
do?
did you guys? Yeah.
Toledo is in the
What?
Bahamas Bowl.
Ooh, that
The
would
what?
be
The
that's
Booty
a
Bowl.
good one. No, the Bahamas. I'll go root for that. Look, Arizona. People made it seem like we were like the group of us were anti-coach. We're anti this. We were never that. We were anti the process. I can't say that 1,000 times. We were anti the process in which it went about. He is obviously Gonzaga is number one in the country. We know this man can coach. We know all of this bullshit. That wasn't it, but we still felt that like some of the alumni deserved respect. That being said, I am number one, Arizona. It ain't about the name on the back of the chest. It ain't about the person sitting there. It's about the name on the front of the chest. That's what we fucking represent.
What's
so,
the
like,
back of the chest?
The back of the chest. Like, say it with the back of your chest.
Shout out
You're sleepy,
Adia
dog.
as well. Adia Barnes in the women's program. They're playing well.
No,
Weren't they beating somebody
That's a great
48-9 at the half? I looked at the halftime score. I said, "Come on, y'all! Come on,
Y'all's team can really hoop. Y'all's team can really hoop.
Our women's team?
Both.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's first of all, Adia, shout out Adia. She's definitely done all the things that she needed. And two, yes, we believe that our basketball team, our team can play. And look, it's full support. Like I talked to, Murph. Murph is one of the assistant coaches. He was there when me and Channing were there. He's like one of our brothers. But like Murph called me right after the Michigan State, or after the Michigan win. He's like, "Hey, Richard," and the only reason why I picked it up is because I wanted to give him some love after the Michigan win. He's like, "Hey, I got you on speakerphone with Coach." I'm like, "Coach, great win. Super stoked for you guys. So excited." During Lute Olson's memorial, he was there. So we got to all connect and have some beers and just hang out. So we're still family. He understood why some of the alumni were a little fired up, but he is representing the university like we couldn't be even more proud.
That's awesome. I love to hear that came full circle because I know you guys were very passionate about the whole entire thing.
Wait, really quickly. Let's give a shout out. Shout out to my guy, Miles Simon, coaching the South Bay Lakers, doing a great job. They're down. I don't know how well their team is doing, but I told Miles that I'm going to bring my boys to come check out the South Bay Lakers. Check it out.
My guy Dan with the Canton Charge. What about Jason Terry?
Jason Terry? Yeah, Brett Brillmeyer.
On,
let's shout out the guy. We're shouting out our people.
Look, and we don't have to shout. I was gonna say we don't have to shout out just the ones at top. Luke.
Shout out Luke. We got to hang out for Thanksgiving. Spent a lot of time with him the last couple of days. It was fun. All right.
That's priceless. I do want to ask this really quick, Channing. I think we should, because we have some studio guests that we're working on right now, but I think we should get Logan back on and do a fun episode with Logan. It is one of the episodes that obviously we never got to air, but I do want to ask, do you think that he was more disappointed in the Michigan-Arizona loss for Michigan, or more excited about the Michigan-Ohio State win for Michigan?
State.
We were at a
Tells
dinner.
You everything you need to know when it comes to sports, okay?
At a dinner with all our family watching the Michigan-Arizona game, and we were just roasting him. So he's more disappointed about that, but then he made up for it. I think he's about even right now. Logan's a pretty even keel. The turtle doesn't really get too high and too low.
The complete opposite of his older brother. No big deal. But we should get Logan on. All right, this is a great episode.
I haven't yawned in 20 minutes.
I know you got hyped about some bullshit.
What?
I don't know. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Right, see ya.
We want to thank the Wagner family of Caymus Vineyards for providing us with some of their delicious wines. In addition to Caymus Cabernet from Napa Valley, the Wagners made a range of other wines from diverse parts of California. We recommend trying them all. We're really enjoying sipping on them during the podcast, and we're also sending our lucky guests some Caymus and other wines made by the family after each